There it is. You guys find yourself at a brand new podcast. Paige, Pierce, and I teaming up together to bring you guys All Air. This is a podcast that's going to involve disc golf, but we're going to talk about a ton of different stuff.
Anything going on in our minds, what's going on the disc golf tour, obviously, and just, getting into it with all of our favorite players, our friends, and our peers out here on the road.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time. You and I have known each other for dang near a decade. Yeah. So this is going to be a couple friends hanging out, talking shop a lot of the times. We're going to go over rankings, standings, courses, discs, players. We're going to talk about all that different stuff, but in a laid-back format that you guys can hang out with us at.
Yeah, and we want to make sure, too, that, we're obviously talking about the players that are playing well, but also just the stuff that isn't being talked about as much. Not just the players. What are the struggles we're facing? What are the hurdles that we've just overcome? What's our favorite thing to do off the course right now? Show me your best agate you found this week. Stuff like that, too. And just really try to get you guys a better idea of what's going on as players on the tour, but also what the road life's like, too, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. When you see us, a lot of the times it's in that 3 to 4 hours when we're playing disc golf, but you don't see the rest of our week. You don't see the travel time. You don't see the blowouts on the road. Or the crazy things that happen to us that they really change the way that we play that week.
Totally. One thing that I do want to maybe have a segment of, we're still trying to figure out segments, too. So if you guys have any segment ideas, loop them down below in the comments. We have some that we're developing. Over the last few months, we've been talking about the name. We came up with All Air, and you guys are seeing this logo. So we came up with the logo and the name, but we're still working through the segments. But one of the segment ideas I have is when you get to that next tournament, we just rolled up to Jonesboro, right?
Yep.
That Monday in the parking lot, everyone's going through the back of their van, looking through their backups and switching new discs in for the different courses.
For sure.
So I kind of want to go through what's a new disc in your bag this week that wasn't in there last week, and why? Why do you need that on this course, but you didn't need it in Austin or in Houston?
Yeah, for sure. It could be hole 8, old hole 8, the par 5, excuse me. I think that might be old hole 16 now that I'm thinking of
Here
it.
at Jonesboro?
It's been so confusing lately
I know,
with that course,
the new order.
Yeah, that par 5, you might just have a water disc that you're throwing in there that you've trusted at times before, or maybe gotten back after a couple water splashes, but it could be that one, but we want that good one.
Totally.
I actually brought mine in too.
Did you lose any at Brooksville? I feel like that was a course where people were losing.
That sawgrass was insane.
Yeah.
No, I looked for one of Kale's Falcors for probably 2 hours, but I think I came back with all of mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me too, luckily. But
it doesn't always happen
No, it doesn't. And some players, first tournament of the year, you're out.
Yeah.
You've just been beating this disc in all off season. It's your money thrower. And now you lost it, and you maybe even lost the backup. And so those things too, I want to, when we get guests on, we are going to have guests as well, and just talk to them about what disc is flying the best for you right now, and not just telling me, hey, it's a nuke, it's a destroyer, it's a F1. I want them to show me the actual disc and what lines they're throwing it on.
We want to look at the profile here for us, but let's start at the beginning, I guess, and maybe introduce ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Here, I'll try and introduce you. How about that?
Okay.
We've got 5-time world champion, one of the best players to ever play disc golf. Some consider it the GOAT. I'm right there in that group, honestly. She's done things that others haven't. You traveled all over the world playing this game, pushed it to the level that it's at now. We're seeing the women, the FPO especially, just more elevation than ever.
Big time.
It's giving me goosebumps to think about but you really pushed that. You're one of the pioneers behind those women who really started it. You were in the exploding phase, and we are where we are because of Paige Pierce. So that's a little bit about her. She's got ideas. She's got,
nonstop. They're just running. Yeah. And Luke, to transition too, you are the, make it happen. Maybe I have the ideas, but Luke is, let's make it happen. You're this man is on the phone all day long, calling whoever needs to be called to make it happen. And just also something I admire about you is how you just pump people up, just for example, with GK Skins, you were getting not just Paul Macbeth and Ricky Wysocki at the time who were just killing it. You were getting players that you knew were amazing and were great characters, but people weren't seeing them as much and getting them exposed. And look at Calvin now. He's absolutely one of the fan favorites. And that's because of, I think, his introduction to the disc golf like viewership world through GK Pro and through you. And like, not to mention number 5 in the tour standings right now.
Hey.
And last year you were number 2 for like the first month, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Coming off Vegas and Waco.
Something
that was
about
sick.
it. Yeah. And when you're talking about being able to introduce people and stuff, like, first of all, we got a big shout out to the GK Pro crew. We've got 3 guys here sitting in this room right now that have been an integral part in bringing you those personalities and expanding your knowledge base of the players and what they like and the characteristics that otherwise are pretty unknown because of that structure that we have on tour. So Gabriel Dow, Chris Van Beesler, Bobby Cox, they're the guys that help us bring you those people. It's more than just me.
Absolutely. But, yeah. Absolutely. They're the ones chasing down the discs. And they do it because, for one, they just love the game, you know?
Yep.
They love watching the disc fly. They want to, like, capture those moments and, like, stuff like the Holy Shot. They want people to be able to relive that, you know? We were lucky enough to be there in person, but, like, for the people that weren't, like, that stuff is only viewable because we have dedicated cameramen and just, it's amazing.
It's true.
Huge shout out.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about us. We're both very passionate about disc golf, but we're also human beings that have interests like you guys. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to bring on some guests, some people that we like, some people that we might not know as well, and then some youngsters that we really want to get you guys to know.
Yeah.
Introduce some people to.
Totally. I remember, like, I don't know, very early on in our friendship, we both came from DFW area. Yeah. And we were going to the putting league in Carrollton, playing putting league. And we were playing a lot with Emerson, too, at the time. And, we both realized that we love playing Catan, Settlers of Catan.
Yeah.
And we would just play late night till 2, 3 in the morning, just crunching on cereal.
Yeah.
I remember you were so into dry cereal.
Oh, yeah.
You still do that?
I mean, all cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I can. But I do love milk, too. The combination.
Someone that loves milk and dry cereal, but you do it together sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember late night, we'd just be playing Catan, talking disc golf, snacking.
Yeah, snacking.
And so it feels like this is just full circle. Now we just have a camera and, you know.
Yeah, it really is.
We could play some games on this show, too.
I'd be down. Yeah. We could have like a little checkerboard or chessboard going on or something.
I got to learn chess first, but yeah. I know the knight goes up 1 over 3 or vice versa. But I got to learn some of the others.
When you said knight, my mind went to like the castle, which is, I know that we both need to learn.
Yeah, we do. Especially after chess.com. It's like sponsored by it.
We should just pick it up.
We should have learned from Magnus.
Yeah. We both love the mind games. And the Catan, man, you guys know if you play it at home, that one gets like...
We've been yelling at each other.
Yeah. Sometimes friendships got to go on hold for a little while.
We've had nights with... I'm specifically thinking of James at this moment, like James and I and you and James and me, you and James and Nate, like we've yelled at each other, left the table. Then the next morning we're like, damn, you really got me with all that ore last night, you know?
Yeah. Like if it wouldn't have been for that harbor that you had, James is a hard person to like be mad at too.
He is.
Or to get riled up.
Yeah.
But definitely.
Nate's triangles of doom, the little port, he gets the port and goes in. Yeah. Some
cutthroat.
Yeah.
It's some savage material. Yeah, so I mean, being real with it is going to be what you're going to get.
Yeah, so while we're talking about all these games and chess and stuff, you know, chess.com was our first event of the season.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool atmosphere. First of all, the first event of the season, I feel like is always such an awesome, like, opportunity to feel like, what have you been doing in the off season? I've been seeing this on social media, whatever. Like,
yeah. Were you fake practicing?
Yeah, who's working hard?
Like, did you make those 3 videos? And they were pretty cool, or?
Exactly. Like a lot of times, like actually when I'm practicing this off season, me in particular, I practiced harder than I ever have.
Really?
More than I ever have, more like dedicated, like actually I'm going to practice. I'm not going to go with any friends. I'm going to, you know, and I found myself videoing less, you know, because it wasn't for anyone else. It was for me.
Yeah.
And totally I've had that thought too. It's like, okay, are you just filming that because like you're promoting your disc, you know? But yeah, like the first event of the year, it's like...
I think when you're really putting in the work, it's less video.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Totally.
And you're coming back from an injury as well.
Yeah. What was your off season?
Mine was a lot of playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to New Zealand. My off season was ridiculous.
Yeah.
We
Mexico
left,
too, right?
Yeah, we left. I packed for a month, went to Mexico.
Okay.
Flew back to Dallas, but didn't leave the airport, and then went to New Zealand for 3 weeks. So
Oh,
I played.
You didn't just fly from Mexico to New Zealand?
It was easier to go back to Dallas.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it was only like 2 hours.
Okay.
But then it was like a 16-hour flight.
Oh my God.
Over to New Zealand.
The longest flight was 16 hours?
Direct. Yeah, you can go
What?
from Dallas to Auckland. Pow, just one shot. You go like 8,000 miles over water essentially the entire time.
How many meals did you get on the flight?
That's like, I think
At
I had
least
breakfast
3, right?
twice or something. No, we leave at 10:30 at night and you arrive at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
So going there is really nice because like your schedule doesn't
just
really
like
get
one
messed
day,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, you watch movies for like a while and then you go to bed for a little while if you can. Those seats are obviously terrible.
Yeah.
But I was able to play a bunch of tournaments because of that. So coming into chess.com, I was pretty comfortable. I had just got done playing Corey Ellis heads up at a tournament down in New Zealand.
Which he shredded.
He was unstoppable.
Putting, right?
Yeah. So just to hang on and just to match pace
Yeah.
for a bit of that gave me the good vibes, I think, and set me up perfect. But yeah, Corey Ellis, like, man, what a terror.
Yeah.
A
Even
pure
like
terror.
last year, like he finally got his breakout win at European Open.
What a win, dude.
Unbelievable. And like, Corey's a really good friend of mine. Like, really good friend of mine. He's like one of the sweetest guys in the whole world.
Really is.
He's like such a gentle, thoughtful, loving man. And I just love Corey. Just
Yeah, I
have
do
so
too.
much love for him.
Yeah,
But
and Molly in the
and he's
cup now.
and he's been so close to winning so many times. And like I know a lot of people were heartbroken for AB during that, but for me, all I could focus on was Corey because he had those heartbreaks at Maple Hill, at D-Glow. He had one other as well where he was like right there, like.
He definitely did. It could have been Beaver. I know there was that weird spit out.
It might have been. But yeah, anyway, just to start the season out like that was so cool. So you got to like play right there against him and then coming into chess.com, like you were already warmed up and ready.
Totally. I mean, I came straight from New Zealand to Florida, basically.
Okay.
So my game felt like it just transitioned in perfectly.
Yeah.
Met up with Kale.
Cool.
Kale's energy is so
Yeah.
good. Every time I get to a tournament with Kale, he's always pumping me up.
Yeah.
He's like, "Boy, we getting top 5, dude. Baby podium and stuff." And like, he said that whole week in Waco too.
He believes.
The whole time.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Me and you, 1 and 2, let's do this."
Hell yeah.
He like honestly pumped me up into the spot that I got him.
Hell yeah,
He was
Luke.
supposed to be there with me, but
Yeah.
you know how it is. Yeah, transitioned in. That first tournament too, I really get like the back to school vibes.
Yeah, me too.
That are just like, it's hard to be mad.
Yeah.
You play with people you haven't seen every round.
Yeah.
It's almost like it doesn't matter who you're with. It's
Yeah.
just, there's a buzz about
Yeah,
being there.
you want to see how everyone's doing. You like these are your family. You know them, you love them, you have like connections to them. And like also at the end of the year, the last few years at least, like we don't really get a proper goodbye because like the last few events of the year are like qualifications. So like people slowly start leaving tour.
Right.
We don't like have this goodbye party. People are so ready to get home and see their family.
Yeah.
So like seeing everyone totally back to school vibes and like, yeah, it's just.
I came into the game in like 19 roughly on
Okay.
tour. Was the Hall of Fame Classic like that tournament that people
Yeah.
would like be at and then everybody
Exactly.
would bounce?
Yeah, IDGC it would be the final event of the year, and we would play like, I would say like almost the end of October, like second to last weekend in October, and then we would all go home.
It's like USDGC week off and then like IDGC or whatever, and then everybody would split up and go their ways. But you're right, like half the field doesn't go to D-Glow anymore, and
Right.
then an even smaller amount goes to
Like
MVP.
Maple Hill
Yeah.
and Brewster
And Vermont this year, I
Yeah,
guess, so,
Smugs, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah, those are like playoff events. So if you don't make it in, and then a lot of people don't qualify for USDGC. So and then the Pro Tour Championships is even smaller. So like we just slowly like wean off players, and you're so fixated on your goals. These are the biggest events of the year, like that you're not thinking, oh no, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to such and such. And
You don't have the capacity to think about stuff like that. If
No,
you're trying to play
until
well.
it's too late.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, it's cool like coming back into that new year, seeing the friends again, and also having that reinvigorated like feeling of like the excitement and like the drive to compete.
Yeah.
Instead of like that sore body and like,
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, the lack of motivation of the mind just because you've tried so hard so many weeks in a row.
Yeah.
That first driving range sesh, when I get there, on like chess.com, it's so intimidating though.
Yeah.
You're seeing everybody just crush it again.
People are doing push-ups. Like, you're just like, whoa, okay.
The warm-up, yeah.
I haven't lifted a weight, like, ever.
All the
Did you play high school sports?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what did you play?
Everything.
Yeah.
Except for baseball.
Okay.
I was like,
so you did like...
That one's a little slow for me.
Okay. Yeah, same. But it was cool, like the you know, they're doing cheers and the...
Yeah.
I like
Spectating
that.
baseball.
I like that aspect of it. But like,
seeds.
so you were with a coach and a team in a weight room and stuff then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a strength and conditioning coach and stuff, yeah.
See, I never played any sports that were like that. I did soccer.
Yeah.
But it was like not with the high school. I did it like club soccer. Or not club, but like the AYSO.
Yeah,
like,
right. AYSO, for sure. I was
there. Were you really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, they were
That's
all
so
over
funny.
the place.
In the PSA, Plano Sports Association? You probably weren't Plano, though.
AYSO was like world or nationwide.
Yeah, nationwide,
but
yeah.
No, yeah. I was in Kansas.
But yeah, so we didn't like lift weights or anything. I never got on like that regiment to like feel like, especially like disc golf, like I feel like the top bodies in the sport are like tall and lanky. I mean, Calvin, Gannon, AB, like they're not like...
They usually just named like one,
Will
two, and three,
Shoestrick,
basically.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
like
one
their
best ever.
bodies are like... It doesn't seem like the type of sport where you need to lift weights, but then like you get out there to chess.com and people are doing push-ups and like you said, they're just out there and I'm like, whoa.
They're just throwing it as far as discs can go.
Yeah.
Spinning them as fast as they can go.
Holland.
It's pretty impressive.
In the counterpart, I would say, to Ezra.
Yeah, I really think so, yeah.
In FPO, and she's in the gym every day. She's got a full-on system, but that was her background. She was a weightlifter, power lifter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she has like a fully developed system, but like, so she on like, on Thursday, most weeks, the tournament starts Friday. So like Thursday's her kind of like light day, but she still works out the day before the tournament.
Yeah.
But Sunday she goes hard.
After the tournament?
After the tournament, whether she won or lost, like she's got some stuff to get out and she goes hard, and then Monday's drive day. So, but yeah.
Crazy.
It's just like crazy to see that and to feel like, I don't know, like as humans, we kind of always like compare ourselves to each other, whether we're trying to or not.
Of course.
Like subconsciously, or like you're like questioning, like, should I be doing that? Like, am I doing enough?
Right.
But like I said, I played so much, and it's like, Holland's doing good for herself. Ezra's doing good for himself. I don't need to compare myself to them, but I do wonder if it has an impact. Like, what do you think? Like lifting weights, do you think that directly correlates with better scores in disc golf? No. You don't think so? I don't either. Maybe it's like a confidence thing, though.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
If it can make you a more confident person, then by all means, you have to do it. If you know that it makes you more confident, then not doing it makes you less confident.
Right.
So you almost have to do it in that regard. So my attitude of like, I've done it, I've lifted weights, and it didn't change my scores, and now I'm not really lifting weights all the time. I do pull-ups, push-ups, random stuff. I mean,
as you feel it, you're not like at a routine.
And I think like Gannon's not doing that
stuff.
No,
not at all.
Like he probably does it for some vlog videos occasionally, but like he's not actually in the gym like every single day. But I don't know that he could be much better. Like, how can you hit more putts than he's hitting? Right. It doesn't help you to throw any further than he's throwing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder too, because like we're talking about that body type, and I just thought of another one too while you were talking. Eagle, you know, he's tall and lanky as well.
Yeah.
He's not working out. I mean, now that he's had his injury, he is like with his trainers and stuff. But that's like a performance, not a performance based. It's like rehab. You know, getting his muscles surrounding his injury better.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like that there's a specific type of body that's good for disc golf, and I don't see that as much in ball golf. I feel like, and you have a ball golf background. Like, what do you think is the body type for ball golf, or do you think that there isn't one for that? Because
they get to use a lever and they have that long shaft, they can create so much more momentum.
Yeah.
We have to use our own levers. You know, this is what I have, my elbow to my wrist, and Calvin's is there and AB's is there.
Yeah.
And if you swing that all the way around, that equates to like a considerable amount of
more powerful whip kind of.
Yeah, exactly. The ability to create spin based on finger length and grip size. And all of that stuff I think matters a little more in disc golf than it does in ball golf, but I think maybe the number one thing is flexibility.
Yeah.
If you think about the positions that the really big throwers get into, those are crazy positions.
Yeah.
You have to be a super flexible person.
Totally.
Double G, like he's one of the bigger guys out there probably that's throwing super far, but like, he's so flexible still. He used to be able to do backflips and stuff.
Yeah, I think he can still. Like, if you asked him to do a front handspring, he could bust it out.
On average, a disc golf professional is more athletic than a golf professional, I think. You have guys
I would say so too. And I really think that we have athletic bodies coming into the sport, like more and more.
Yeah.
We really do.
Oh,
like,
we do.
Which is funny to me too. Like, this is something that I've thought about. Like, I am so happy that Eagle McMahon found disc golf because I feel like Eagle is the type of person who, I don't know, this is not a fact, but I don't know that he would be good at any other sport.
Yeah.
But disc golf, he is an absolute genius. Like, he's a magician with the disc. You know, and like those are the people in disc golf that I gravitate towards watching, because they have truly found their like one thing that they are just insanely incredible at. And that's like just so fun to watch for me. I love watching someone, whatever it is, disc golf, whatever it is, like the thing that they are the best in the world at, do, you know?
Yeah.
You've seen James juggle? Like, so fun to watch, you know?
Incredible.
Like,
yeah. All of our friends are really athletic.
Yeah.
Good at other things.
Yeah.
Perkins played college football.
Yeah.
Marweed played college basketball. Like,
I feel like Kev is like one of the most athletic bodies in our sport.
I think he might be the most athletic body in our sport. He can really do anything.
He could do anything.
Yeah.
He's like a little golden retriever.
And he's so powerful too.
Yeah.
In the same package, I mean, he's shorter than I am.
Yeah.
But he weighs like 20 pounds more than I do. And there's like the same amount of body fat. I think he's just like dense.
Energizer Bunny too.
Yeah, he doesn't stop. He's playing 2 rounds a day, 3 rounds a day right now. He's just the rubber band man. He can slip and fall and get back up.
Slip ace.
His ligaments are like, I wonder if they're taking, I feel like he's going to be doing it forever.
Yeah. Who else do you see out there like all day long? Like, if you practice, who are you going to see on the course?
You'll see Calvin every single time.
I see Calvin every time I play.
He goes morning, he eats lunch, drinks Dr. Pepper, rock hounds a little bit, and then he hits the evening round.
Gets back out there.
Yeah.
I always see Calvin on the course every day.
I think I've heard it from him. He doesn't really do much field work. Almost like zero field work.
Yeah, I don't really too much in the season. I actually did after, which one was that? The Open at Austin. I actually did. My timing was really bad, and I just needed to not think about where the disc was going to go and the target, and I just needed to feel it coming out at the right time. That was actually really helpful, but I'm similar to Calvin that I try not to do much field work.
Interesting.
You hit the field a lot?
I like the field.
Yeah.
I definitely get better because of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
Mid-season, though. You do still?
I mean, it's really hard to hit the field mid-season.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Especially with the packed tee times. Like, we have to sign up for tee times on like a Google Sheets.
Oh, it's so hard. Our lives are so terrible.
No. I'm not complaining. But like, we'll be like, you can't just go to the course whenever you want anymore.
No,
like,
you can't. No.
Oh, I just ate. I'm feeling good. Let's go to the course. You have to sign up for tee time, and so it actually does get us into like a good rhythm. I feel like if I know tomorrow I tee off at 7:58, I'll try to play my practice rounds in the morning too, and
that's good.
See what the course is playing like.
You also can't just like fly through it like I love
No.
doing. You got to have like a slow round, which is typical.
Yeah. I like the afternoon tee times though are good. Usually like by 4, most people are done for the day.
Yeah.
And like the course is kind of like peaceful, like it's kind of golden hour.
That's a great
birds are
time to
chirping.
play,
Yeah, it's nice.
It's one of our favorite times.
Yeah.
I feel like
we played yesterday at that time.
Yeah, our crew ends up out there a little more than others.
Yeah. But it's also nice because then you could get a chance to play 2 rounds a day. But
For sure.
Yeah, I always see Calvin out there. I'm trying to think what FPO I've been seeing this year.
Holland, I mean.
She was out there yesterday as well, actually, when we were out there.
I see her getting it in.
You know,
Ella Hansen's out there.
Ella, I was going to say last year, it was very, very consistently Luke Sampson and Kat Murch. Not together, but I would always see the two of them, and not always playing the course, but just posted up by a basket with 30 putters.
Right.
And I'm like, that is sick.
They are both hustlers.
Someone that's out there
Grinders.
late night, you know, after everyone's practiced, like chances are, hey, let's go play Catan, let's go rock hounding.
Oh, there's a million options.
Those people that stay at the course, they put their headphones on and they're just drilling putts.
Yeah.
Own. You know,
I was gonna bring that up. She'll stand
now
there.
She's living in a van.
Yeah, and she'll put like, I mean, she's so efficient.
Yeah.
She's so quick with them. She's got the stack.
Yeah.
Just bang from
all
40,
yellow
bang
JK
from 40.
of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're coming out like extremely fast. The reset time is almost nothing, but they're all going in. It's like such good practice.
Yeah.
I sit there and watch. Every time I see it, she was doing it out at Persimmon Ridge.
Yeah.
Last week
I saw her at Waco.
A really fun event, and she was hanging out on site the whole time, so I was able to interact with her a little bit and see how much she really does putt.
Yeah.
She's not accidentally banging all those putts on coverage.
And honestly, I really do think that, like, you know, it's a huge topic in disc golf right now, like young versus old, like, you know, these up and comers and the veterans. And Own, I feel like, is both. Her age is a veteran, but her mindset and her everything is like the up and comer. Like, she just got full time on the road. She's living in a van now. And she stays at the course, so like she sleeps at the course, like, and so, which a lot of us do. But Own is the type, I think, similar to us, like where we just can't really sit still for long.
For sure.
And her comfort, like, for me, like my comfort is a disc, you know, like playing catch a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, you like, I feel like I'm talking for you, but like you love looking for rocks, you know, and like when you don't know what to do. You want to go rock hounding. I want to play catch. Own, she wants to grab those yellow putters and go putt, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I just always see her with those. She'll make a meal, she'll be cleaning the dishes and putting, going back to the dishes. It's just...
It's amazing to watch. And now that she's doing what she's doing, it shows you that it's paying off.
It is.
The people that put the hustle and the time in, the Sampsons of the world.
Totally.
Who I don't see doing it as often anymore.
Yeah.
But last year you were talking about?
Yeah.
For sure.
Big time. So we just got into, well, we were talking about chess.com, but we didn't even talk about AB's breakout win finally.
Yeah.
He got it done.
Took the lid off the jar. I feel like it's just about to, he's pouring them out from now on. Incredible.
He got it done.
Yeah.
And like, he had Ricky chasing him down, hitting that huge putt on 17.
Insane.
Just Ricky raptor legging it in there. Like, that's got to be such an intimidating feeling. And like, to hold on, you know, stay in control and get it done. Like, you know, it was only fitting that it was at the top of the mountain and he's just like, you know, I did it.
Yeah, incredible.
So cool.
Yuli asked me like a month ago, maybe when I was on Tour Life, what I thought was like, or who I thought was going to be the future of the game. And it's hard not to say A, B, or Gannon at this point.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Well, and how old are they? Gannon's like 21?
Gannon's
AB's maybe
still 18.
No, he's not. He's 18 years old.
Not. I think he's turning 19 this year, but he's literally 18 years old.
And
That's
he's like
right.
This he tall just graduated high school like
and
2 years ago.
Filling out.
Is that right? Last year he graduated high school.
Year.
Was that last year?
He was going to classes last
year.
Oh
my goodness!
I would text him and he'd be like, "Yo, I'm at class." I'd be like texting Gannon while he's at school. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I feel so bad." Concentrate on your schoolwork.
Gannon, okay, so 19.
Like it matters. He's sitting in class like, just made 15K last week. And
then how old is AB? Like,
I think he's like 22.
22. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it would be really hard to not say them. But what about like a Cole Rodolin or...
Freak, absolute amazing kid, too. Just a really good kid, comes from a good family. Yeah, and then, I mean, you brought this up. Calvin Heimberg's not even 30.
Yeah.
Calvin Heimberg is not even in his prime necessarily yet. Like,
I wonder.
That's a scary prospect.
And we are going to have Calvin on, so we got to ask him, you know, like, are you in your prime? Have you even reached your prime? If his answer is no, it's very scary.
Yes.
Very scary.
Well, I remember just like 2 years ago, could have been 3, rock hounding right here in Jonesboro with Calvin. We're just like talking about what his off season, what things have been like. And he's like, I don't even know if this is what I want to do. I'm not sure that I even want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, is disc golf even going to be like a viable job?
Yeah.
Thing for me. And in those 3 years, like the DGPT has really elevated their game, as has Calvin. And it's really become like a match made in heaven. And there's like no question that this is where he should be.
Yeah.
When he throws a Frisbee, you're like, that's what he was meant to do.
Absolutely.
That's where he should be. But 3 years ago at this exact event, he was like, I don't even know if this is like my thing.
And then he's won at 3 of the 4.
3 of 4. Back to back coming in here.
Honestly, I think that this is like, for me, like a moment that I was like, wow, Calvin was at this tournament, and he's won 3 of the last 4, so I can't remember what year it was, but just when you're watching him throughout the round as a viewer, you're kind of like, okay, he's just going through the motions. He's just trying to get the birdie, move on to the next hole, get the birdie, move on. But once he won and that final putt came in on 18, the eruption out of him, like, I really felt that he felt it finally.
Yeah. He's so good at showing nothing.
Yeah. But then finally letting that out in like this like relief, but also this just like pride in himself was just super, super powerful.
You're not sure if he's feeling it.
Yeah, you're not.
Is he human?
Yeah.
And then when it happens, he is.
That's why we need another Vinny win soon.
They're so good.
Yeah.
He's getting close.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's
crazy what
he
he
always
can do
is.
with a backhand. Yeah, he always is.
He's always close.
He's on it again too. I think that chess.com maybe still dialing in that backhand and like still thinking like I could have just forehanded that easily. And
what place did he get it?
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. Still going down.
Where are you,
There
Calvin?
he is, 34th.
34th. He shot 3 under, and the leader came in at 18, so 15 off the lead.
Yeah.
5 shots around on average.
That was a crazy tournament. Leader after 3 rounds, 18 under. You don't see that on the Pro Tour anymore as much.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, 6 under around.
6 around.
Yeah, yes, very true.
I hope we kind of lean towards that in the future.
Yeah, I do too. I want the holes to get harder.
Well, your guys is kind of going the other way.
It really is. The past few years, it really has gone the opposite direction. And like, it's a hot topic for sure, because the Pro Tour and the viewers, they want it to be more exciting. They want it to be more birdie opportunities.
Right.
But I think as players, we kind of want the opposite. We want the holes, we want to have something to strive towards, right? So, for example, if I always suck at hole 1 at Maple Hill, you're damn right I'm going to be practicing the shot to get hole 1 down.
Right.
But when the holes continuously get easier and easier, it makes that off-season work a little bit more lax,
Right.
Like,
you don't have direct goals that you can reference.
Yeah, so like just having something to strive towards. So it's a balance that we're trying to figure out right now.
Also, I mean, we can talk about this more in depth another time, but I think that we're seeing that change in the ratings for the FPOs as well. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an opinion at the end of the day, but if we're trying to get some more birdies for the ladies, then we're going to see more rounds in the 11, 12, 13. And those rounds are continually starting to get rated 10, 30, 40, 50. Own average 10.53 the other day for a tournament. She was hitting everything she looked at. Let's get that straight. So you can't take anything away from it, but was it? I mean, I don't know. If the course gets easier, are we trying to get an FPO to be 1050 rated too? Like is that what we're going towards?
But there's other ways we could do that too. We could also make our rating system different. We could, there's other ways. I think that is exciting for sure. I think seeing, Own only missed 4 holes,
Right.
I think that's exciting for sure. But I think it's okay right now. I wouldn't say it's a real issue in my mind yet, but if it continues down this trajectory and the holes keep getting easier, Kristen's getting better.
Yeah.
Owen's getting better. Players are getting better. Right. So the course is getting easier seems like the opposite direction in my head that we should be going. But I do understand the point of like when Macbeth shoots 18 under, it's historical. Yeah. If there was a chance for an Owen to shoot 18 under,
it'd be really cool.
It would be awesome.
And we don't want to take away that opportunity.
Yeah, I like to keep that discussion open and keep figuring out what is the best way for our sport moving forward to get the viewership, but to also push the players to their highest potential. Yeah, right. So it's interesting, and I feel like that's something that we fortunately have a lot of say in as like part of the tour card holders and like the players council and stuff. Right. So
because 4 or 5 years ago, maybe we look at Maple Hill, the holes that you guys are playing. You're playing almost all of the same holes as the MPO is playing.
What is now the gold layout? Yeah, right. We played all 18 the same.
Right. So naturally, the FPO ratings are going to be a little bit lower than the men's. But now as we play less and less of those holes together, it ends up being almost a different course. So it almost seems like we're setting ourselves up for an FPO 1050 rated and MPO 1050 rated, and that like it won't.
Did Kristen hit 1,000?
I think she needed to average like 1017. It was actually at that Persimmon event.
Yeah.
If she would have had like maybe 2 or 3 more birdies final round, she would have got it.
Okay.
She was averaging 1017.
Because she's 999.
Yeah.
And the ratings just happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's still...
She averaged 1,007.
Okay.
So she...
What?
She's
That wasn't
close
enough to go up 1 point?
Apparently not.
What?
Somebody said it was 1017 she needed to average. And after 2 rounds, she shot 1036 second round. She was averaging exactly 1017. And Sunday, she comes out 5 under through 7 holes. And I'm like, she's about to get it. Like, this will be historic. It's going to be at Persimmon.
Right during the eclipse.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she took a few unfortunate unanswered bogeys and ended up, I think, at like a 3 or a 4 under. But if she would have shot like a 6.
It's coming next rating, though.
It has to be, right? I mean.
Yeah, but 1050, I mean, like, you think you see that? Like, that's the number you were just saying, like, coming?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I think if we stop rating the female score against the men's score, even if we play the same course, like, or the same venue, the holes are so much different. Why do we have? So, but yeah, that's a interesting and something that's gonna continue to be a topic, like on this podcast, throughout disc golf in general. Like, where should we be moving towards?
Right. Are ratings even what we should be using?
Yeah.
There's other systems we could use. The PGA Tour uses money, points. I think there's a good argument to be had for using money as that, because then the tournament with the most money will be the most well attended, become a big event, and then naturally, organically, a tour will form with the biggest offering the most, attended by the most.
And that's starting to happen. Like before, say my last World Championships that I won was in 2019, and I won $7,000, I think. And now, what is it, 5 years later, right? 5 years later, the winner's winning 15. It's like over double. Like the man, I think at that time was 10, and now it's like 30, right?
Yeah,
20, 30.
It's something like 25, 30.
So like we are moving that direction. Like it used to be the USDGC was the highest payout, and Worlds was kind of like, wait, your World Championship winner won $10,000? Like must not be that good of a sport yet. And like now that we can say the Pro Tour champion won 40K, you know, it's like we are moving that direction.
To be in the 5 digits is really important.
Yeah.
I think that to be considered a sport, not a game, $10,000.
Yeah. Do you think that is like when we're looking at ball golf and we're seeing, I just looked over at, I think it was John Rahm or something, and he had Delta on his hat and what was the other one? Oh, DeWalt on his hat and Delta on his shirt, which I use both of those. My whole tool set's DeWalt. I fly Delta every time. I got the AAA Advantage, whatever. Like, I would love to be sponsored by them or have a tournament sponsored by them. Like, and we use those things. Like, we support those products.
Right.
So why, like, what's the hold up, you know?
Probably the number of people that play.
More people.
Yeah. I think we're still growing.
Which in that thought, we need to separate the men's and women's then, so that more men can play and more women can play. Because look at U.S. Women's, which also just happened 2-3 weeks ago. It was only women. We had 100 FPO. I think there was 350 total competitors at the event.
Crazy.
100 FPO, and that's without the men there.
That's one of the biggest FPO fields I've ever heard.
Ever. Yeah, I believe it is. And like, the reason that we can't do that is because we don't have enough time in the day to play both fields full like that. I mean, we're having a hard time doing that even now with if any weather delay happens. We're having a hard time finishing.
I mean, we saw some dark rounds last year, some glow discs being used, and immediately this year it becomes a thing over at Austin. Nicholas, thank goodness he's from
Finland, where it's like dark all,
where they putt in the
all
dark
winter.
And he banged that putt. I was thinking, like, dude, if he just
he knew it was in, and it was so wide
and high,
unbelievable. And he's just like,
it was sick. That moment was
amazing.
Yeah, that kid's special. We're gonna have him on.
That's one of my favorite
soon.
feelings. Like, okay, Luke and I have to tell you guys. Luke and I spent so long trying to figure out the name for this podcast, and we wanted it. We were in agreement that we wanted it to be like something that you say on the disc golf course, but that wasn't like birdie or like
only disc golf related.
Yeah, only disc golf related. And like all air is just like when you're hunting down an ace line and it's like, you know, thinking about going in and you're like, it goes in all air and it just hits the chains. You're just pretty. Like so good. But another feeling that I was just thinking of was like when you know it's going in. When you know it's going in. And sometimes when you know you messed it up too. Like the fact that the instant it comes out of your hand, the person who threw it knows.
Is aware. Like
that is cool.
I had on 16 at Waco, or Rick's putt on 17
oh my God, your
at
putt
chess.com.
at 16 at Waco was legendary, Luke.
Like you have a plan. Moment. You have a plan, and when it goes exactly as you thought it would, like you just, start heading in.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Did you know before you did your reach out? Or did you know even before that, like as you were walking to your putt? Like when did you know it was in? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that instance is actually, we had to figure out Sexton's roller first. It went out of bounds. It was going to be either me or him. So we had to like walk up to that one.
Yeah, he went past the basket on the backside.
And I'm like, all right, I have 46 feet and I have to walk over here and pretend like I'm not, I don't care and do this for like a minute or two. And then it was like, okay, I'm up first. So then I knew if I released it, I knew I was feeling good, but I knew that this height, like if I put it on that angle at this height, because of the downwind and the uphill, like the second it came out of my hand at that height, that's when I knew.
Yeah.
Just
Hell
like,
yeah.
Just a second out of it. Just like felt like Rick, because he's the exact same way. I feel like when he knows he's dialed it up properly, he can head in. Like I've never seen him walk towards something that didn't go in. Yeah. He especially just knows.
That was such a powerful moment. Like it felt like it took all of the breath out of the air, if that makes sense. Like it was just like, it was breezy. Like that whole tournament was just so windy. And like when your putter hit the basket, it was just like, yeah, everyone just, sorry about that editing team. We were just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
and that's another special part about disc golf is that moment is your moment, but we are all there with you in that moment. This is where I was when Luke hit that putt. This is where I was when James threw the holy shot, like that's a special feeling, like the connection that a single disc flying through the air can make thousands of people feel.
No
so
doubt.
Cool.
No doubt. You're absolutely right.
I see you tearing up. You don't have to
hold
it
those
back.
moments, I mean, that was like my first one for sure. And to be a part of something greater than just like that moment and that shot. Yeah,
like definitely. A eternal memory that you can just hit play. So cool.
Pretty wild.
So cool.
I mean, that's going to be a taste of what you guys are going to be looking at. We're going to have conversations about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we got to kind of wrap it up. We only really got into chess.com, in Waco. We didn't even get into Houston or the Open at Austin, but we'll cover that later. We're definitely not going to skip over that. There's going to be so much to talk about this year, obviously. But we're going to film our first episode with guests also today. So you guys should be getting 2 episodes within the week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
A couple of the champs, 2023 Jonesboro champs. So Cat Merch, Calvin Heimberg will be on next time when you guys visit us here on All Air.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening, watching, wherever you are. If you're watching, please tell me you're not driving. We've seen some crazy stuff on the road. So just download our audio version.
Yeah.
Listen to it while you're driving, get you to the next tour stop, and we will see you next week.
Safety first. Catch you there.